Title, Shadows of Her Silence, Episode 1 of 5, The Call Beyond Midnight. Follow and subscribe 5-episode thriller. It was just after midnight when my phone buzzed on the nightstand, vibrating once, then again. The screen lit up the darkness of my room with the glow of a single message. Can't speak, don't text or call, please just come. The name on the message made my stomach flip. Eva. My best friend since we were 12. We hadn't spoken in 3 days. Nothing dramatic had happened, just life getting in the way. College assignments, late shifts, and her new boyfriend who I hadn't met yet. But that message wasn't casual, and it wasn't random. It felt like a red siren flashing on my phone. I sprang out of bed, threw on jeans and a hoodie, didn't even bother brushing my hair. I grabbed my keys and left the apartment with the message still burning on the screen. Outside, the night air bit at my skin, cool and sharp. My heart raced in time with my hurried footsteps as I jumped into my car and sped toward Eva's house. She lived on the edge of town, in one of those older houses that had seen too many winters. Trees arched over the winding roads like twisted guardians. I tried calling her. Voicemail. I texted back. Nothing. Halfway there, the message disappeared. Not just the thread, but the entire history of our texts. My stomach turned colder than the night air. I reached her house in under 15 minutes. Her street was quiet, only the soft glow of a street lamp painting golden circles on the pavement. Her house looked the same, lights off, blinds shut, no signs of distress, no screams, no shadows. I ran up the porch and knocked. No answer. I knocked harder. A minute passed before the door creaked open. Eva stood there in a robe, hair tied up messily, her eyes sleepy and confused. "Hey," she said. "What are you doing here?" I showed her my phone, now with no evidence of the message. "You sent me this. Said not to text or call. Just come." Her brow furrowed. She shook her head slowly. "I didn't send anything. I've been asleep for hours." She looked tired, yes, but not frightened, not in distress. Still, something about her eyes, she wasn't really looking at me. Not like she normally would. I swear, I got the message just 20 minutes ago. Then it deleted itself. Eva stepped aside, letting me in. The house smelled faintly of lavender, but it couldn't mask something more metallic underneath, like rust or blood. The lights flickered as she turned them on. I looked around. Everything looked normal. Too normal. Her dog, Samson, didn't come bounding to the door. His leash still hung by the rack. "Where's Samson?" She blinked. "Oh, at the vet. He's sick." I nodded slowly, but a pit was forming in my gut. We sat for a while. I pressed her for more answers, but she only seemed more confused. Or maybe she was pretending. We watched half an episode of a sitcom, neither of us laughing. I finally left around 2:30 a.m., unsatisfied but not wanting to press harder. Maybe she was sleep texting. Maybe I was overreacting. But I couldn't shake the feeling. 6 hours later, just as dawn began to gray the sky, my phone rang. Unknown number. "Is this Mara Linwood?" a gruff voice asked. "Yes." "This is Officer Raymond Carter with the Greene County Police Department. We need to ask you some questions about Eva Hastings." "What? Why? Is she okay?" A pause. "She's missing." The world spun sideways. "Missing?" "We received a wellness call this morning from a neighbor. When we entered her home, we found signs of a struggle and a considerable amount of blood." My voice caught in my throat. "No, I saw her. Last night, she was fine." Another pause. "Are you sure?" "Yes. She opened the door. We talked. I stayed until 2:30. The officer lowered his voice. "We have surveillance from the street. No one entered or left the house after 8 p.m. I swallowed hard. Then who the hell did I talk to? Silence on the other end, the kind that made your soul fold in on itself. "We'll need you to come in," he finally said. "Right away." I sat down slowly on the edge of my bed, phone still pressed to my ear, the world unraveling around me. Eva was gone. And someone had worn her skin to greet me. The sterile white walls of the Greene County Police Department were bathed in the kind of sickly yellow light that made everything look a little dirtier than it actually was. I sat on a cold metal chair in a plain interview room that felt more like a trap than a place for conversation. Officer Carter entered, tall and broad-shouldered, with a beard peppered in gray and eyes that looked like they'd seen too many bad nights. He closed the door and placed a folder on the table. "Mara Linwood, 23, friend of Eva Hastings since middle school. You visited her home last night around 12:30 a.m., stayed until about 2:30. You say she appeared normal? Yes, I said. My voice cracked from dryness. She was quiet. A little off, maybe, but she was her. Was she alone? I hesitated. Yes, I think so. I didn't see or hear anyone else. Carter opened the folder. Inside were glossy photographs I couldn't look away from once I glimpsed them. Blood smeared down the hallway wall. A shattered vase. A dark, congealed pool on the kitchen floor. We found this scene at 6:41 this morning, after her neighbor called in a disturbance. No sign of forced entry. No body. But the blood, it's enough to suspect foul play. I felt nauseous. But I saw her. She opened the door, talked to me. We sat on the couch. We watched TV. Carter leaned forward. Surveillance says otherwise. No door opened after 8 p.m. If you left at 2:30, there should be a record of it. I was there, I insisted, but my voice was hollow. Carter stared at me like he was trying to decide if I was a liar, a lunatic, or something else entirely. I was free to go, but not before they confiscated my phone for analysis. Walking out into the parking lot, the morning sun felt like an interrogation light. I wanted to scream, to crawl out of my skin. None of it made sense. Back at my apartment, I curled up on the couch, wrapped in a blanket that couldn't touch the cold inside me. My mind replayed every detail from the night before. Eva's sleepy expression, the way she stood just inside the doorway as if reluctant to let me enter. Her vague answers. Samson being at the vet. Something was wrong. I opened my laptop and started digging. I searched Eva's name, the address, even police scanner reports from that morning. The more I searched, the deeper I fell into a pit of silence. There was no mention of a missing person named Eva Hastings. No news, no alerts, nothing. Almost as if the whole thing hadn't happened. Around 8 p.m., I received a message. You shouldn't have come. No contact name, just a message. I stared at it, fingers trembling as I typed back. Who is this? Where is Eva? No response. I showed the message to the police the next morning. Officer Carter's expression darkened. He asked if I had enemies, stalkers, old exes with grudges. My answer was the same. No. They took the number, traced it to a burner phone registered in another state. It was turned off 10 minutes after you received the message. Nothing more we can do, Carter said with a shrug that made me want to scream. I wasn't going to sit around and wait. I started calling Eva's friends. Most hadn't heard from her in over a week. Her boyfriend, Ronan, a name I barely recognized, didn't answer his phone. I tracked down his social media. Sparse. A few cryptic photos, most of them landscapes or abstract, moody shots. One photo stood out. Eva, half in shadow, her smile faint and tired. Caption, some things should stay buried. I clicked on his profile. Nothing in his bio. But one comment from a user named Selkie Song caught my eye. She knew better. She opened the wrong door. That night, I dreamt of Eva. She stood at the edge of a forest, barefoot, her nightgown soaked in something dark. She opened her mouth to speak, but only blood trickled out. Behind her, shapes moved in the trees. I woke up screaming. Determined, I returned to Eva's house. The crime scene tape had been removed. No one answered when I knocked. The house looked empty, abandoned. I circled to the back and tried the kitchen window. Unlocked. I slid inside, careful not to disturb anything. The living room was dim. The TV remote still sat on the coffee table. The lavender candle had melted to a stub. But something was different. The photos on the wall. They had changed. Instead of pictures of Eva and me, of our high school graduation, or our trip to the beach last summer, the frames now held images I didn't recognize. Landscapes, old-fashioned black and white photos of people I didn't know. In one, a girl with long black hair stood on a cliff edge, her arms outstretched, mouth open in a silent scream. Her eyes were white. I backed away from the frame, breath quickening. This wasn't just a mystery. This was something deeper, something older. As I turned to leave, I heard it, a faint creak upstairs. I froze. Eva, I whispered. No answer. Step by step, I climbed the stairs. Each footfall felt like it echoed through my bones. I reached her bedroom door, pushed it open. Empty. But the mirror across the room held a different story. In its reflection, she was standing right behind me. End of episode 1 of 5, The Call Beyond Midnight. Follow and subscribe, 5-episode thriller.